Good evening. Been a kind of a crazy day in news. Just been all over the place. Um, I am exhausted today. I think part of it has to do with kind of trying to keep up with some of it. Um, but other than that, I don't know. Just tired. I'll tell you what. There is a lot of stuff. Even if it's like, oh, I'll say little mentions. Although I hate to really use that terminology because it's not all that little. But things like Biden saying today as he was getting his booster shot was saying something to the effect of 98% of Americans need to be fully vaccinated as well. And I'm just like, wow, that's we just keep moving this goalpost here, just by huge amounts. All just under 2 years ago, starting out with 15 days to slow the spread. Wait a minute. So, I don't know. We got that going on, and then we've got tensions flaring up all over the planet. I mean, it's not just China and the U.S. and Australia and France's involvement in that part, and but then you've got, what is it, Serbia and Kosovo, I think it is. That looks like they may be getting ready to go head to head. You know, it's a lot of unrest, and then there's election issues all over the globe, different elections going on and stuff like that, and just a bunch of turmoil with it, just insane, and it's kind of surreal that a lot of these things are happening in pretty much every nation at the same time. And by that I mean, of course, all the different nations' elections weren't obviously all held at the same time, but it seems like this time around, for every nation, their elections has to be some big debacle and claims of scandals, and I know there's always some level of that kind of stuff that goes on, but it really seems to be to an extreme at this particular point in time. So yeah, and to me it's tiring just watching that nonsense. I'll tell you what, I'm not a fan of politics whatsoever. Now what's